So we move on to step 27, and step 27, not so much components apart from some double-sided foam sticky tape that we're going to need to use to stick in our electronic speaker controller and our receiver and position our switch. So this step really isn't an awful lot I can show you. It's about, in theory, taking your chassis, your electronic speaker controller, your receiver, placing it into the chassis and routing the wires and tidying the wires as best as you possibly can, using some of the zip ties that come with the kit, double-sided tape that comes, the foam tape that comes with the kit, so that you can put these and mount these in position. It's all about you positioning this according to how long your cables are, and routing your cables. So it's a fairly straightforward step really to do, and it's a case of just get things in place and route the cables. So you can see I've kind of routed the servo from the front up into where the chassis rail is, along the chassis rail into the receiver, and the same again for the rear. I've gone up and along where the chassis rail is, you can probably just see there, and brought those out here. And with the electronic speaker controller, it's a case of going to be placing that in position, routing that around as well, and just tidying up the cables. So yeah, quite a simple, straightforward step. I shall get that done. It's going to take me a little while. No point me videoing it. It might probably be a little bit boring, but I'll just show you the outcome of how I've routed my cables and how I've tidied them up. Okay, so be back in a moment. So we're just been completing step 27, placing in the electronic speaker controller, receiver and switch. And so after a little bit of fettling and just generally placing the components in the chassis to see how they fit, you probably end up with something along the lines of this, where you have your electronic speaker controller at the back, you have your receiver in the center, and you've got your motor wires going down to the motor. I've kind of initially table tied them out like this, because I'd imagine they'll look something along the lines of this. Then we've got your servo into channel 1, your electronic speaker controller into channel 2, and in my case I've got the second servo into channel 3, which we'll play with later. And then I kind of think that the wires are going to go something along those lines like that. I'm just put them in ready. I'm just going to check and see if they're okay like that before I start tying those up tight. So yeah, that's technically step 27, placing the wires and such like in a sort of area on the chassis, and placing the electronic speaker controller, receiver and switch, which incidentally is there. So the idea is I'll reach up from the bottom and hit the switch here from underneath. That's the idea. We'll soon find out, won't we? Anyway, that's step 27 now completed. We can move on to step 28.